Exactly. So what do you think? Will we definitely see any map in this match or not? But just before we actually have the pick and ban already starting. So we have Backflip and Twisted being the bans. Backflip being a map that notoriously has been the decider. Edge, a map that had 45 DNFs throughout this middle stage event. Tempest is the first pick from Split, and then we had Edge being the first pick from Solary. Cosmos is also in there, as well as Valley and GeForce. And let's see what other maps will be picked, and let's see what they're doing. Okay, it is it's Tubes from Carl Jr., and then the last map will be randomized, and Dive will be the decider. So Edge, Tempest, Cosmos, Valley, GeForce, Tubes, and Dive are the maps. Backflip and Twisted are the bans, and Surface not being played.
Yeah, Surface not being played, and yeah, we do see at least one of the 3 maps that were played first over the course of the LCQ seeding, and that being GeForce. This being a split pick is definitely no small information to take in, because this is the map where Epos was showing his real true colors as early as September, with some incredible times posted already within the 112 range before we started to dip into the 111s.
Yeah, and also before the match start, guys, there's also a giveaway from Alienware on their Twitter, so you can check that out as well. But the match will be starting very soon. I'm really hyped to see it, and I hope you guys are as well. So they can also see the players, Razi and Epos, being very focused, but also, like, you can see the fist bump there as well, the good sportsmanship, like, of course, going into each other, but also the Trackmania players in general today, when we just arrived here, all being so friendly to each other, just like friends that you didn't see for so long.
That sort of atmosphere, this is the sort of atmosphere that you just yearn for, and that you just don't see every day, and only Trackmania can give us those kind of magical moments here, as everybody gathered up here in Montpellier to close off this season of competition and this entire year of Trackmania World Tour competition with the pinnacle of the circuit, the Trackmania World Championship. As we're about to get started here on our first map, that being Edge, a more mini RPG style track in essence, with plenty of transfer jumps that you see right here already in our map preview. That transition from a very, very low jump to a ramp, and then this transfer is also very, very important. About a 270 km/h approach, and then the reverse here before dropping down as we game currently on the live round. First round is underway right here, right now. It's time to let the field loose and go racing. Carl Jr. already having made a little bit of a slip up, thus he will be dropping back down into P4, leaving Pack all on his own to try and battle against Epos and Razi in second and third as we make our way through the jump here into the ramp. Epos trying to carry a little bit more longitudinal speed through the ramp, doesn't really make it pay off so far compared to his countryman Pack, who continues to hold the lead by about 3 to 4 tenths of a second at the split right here, just before the reverse section, marking the start of Sector 2. Then through the hole, making a little bit of a sideways entrance, trying to get ground contact as early as possible before reversing and then catapulting your way through over to the other side of the road. Currently, it is Pack, Epos, Carl Jr., Razi, a situation which could net them a round victory for now on this opening round. Epos bonking at the very, very edge of the transfer, trying to go for a move against Pack, but Pack is going to be retaliating instantly to retake the lead away from his fellow countryman Carl. Pack in third place and first place respectively. It will be the victory for Team Solary with the 104.711 to start off.
Not the fastest pace here from the players, but also Carl Jr. coming back from that early mistake, and they can also see now the format being played. So we had a pick and ban before, and if you're not familiar with the format, I want to quickly explain that before the second round will heat up accordingly. We have 7 maps in the map pool that have been decided by a pick and ban phase, and the teams have to win 4 maps in order to win the match. And you have 3 different outcomes in the round. There's an ace, which is first and second, and this will reward your team 3 points. There is a victory, which will reward your team 2 points, and you can cede 1 point to the opponent, which is first and third, and second and fourth respectively. And also draw, which is first and last, or second and third respectively. And in this case, you have to gain 10 points in order to win this map, and 4 maps to win the match. And we can see Carl Jr. and Pack with a very good start, being quite comfortably ahead by 0.5 of a second. Razi, however, can still do some damage, didn't get the best speed, still made that clear speed check, but had low RPM, so he will lose more and more speed. Pack and Carl Jr. hand in hand here, going into the kind of identity, but this map doesn't really have an identity, just this mini RPG style that I really like, and Pack and Carl Jr. certainly like it here as well, as they will go into the finish here. And let's take a look onto the times. Carl Jr. will clock in a 0.79, and Pack drives a 0.86. That is roughly 0.8 away from the world record, so not the fastest pace, but it's enough to do the work.
I think we are right in the ballpark of like the round pace that we usually see in live rounds here on Edge, where we're more hovering around the 0.6, 0.7 on a regular basis with good times starting in the 0.4 to 0.3 range, but then once you dip below the 0.2 range, this is when it starts to get insanely fast. Unfortunately for Razi, a little bit of a clip just before the jump to mark checkpoint 2 sees him respawn, and as a result we're already down one man on the side of Split, as Epos is going to have a little bit of a struggle ahead of him to keep up the pace with the two Solary cars, currently trying to keep himself right on the trail of Pack, currently trying to hang around his rear bumper as Carl Jr. decides to check out a little bit up front as we're moving through the reverse sector there before dropping down the hole, making yourself set up for the red booster, catapulting your way through once again up the road into the start of Sector 3 and this very, very important transfer where we saw Epos go really, really low, trying to make a move on Pack, but it did not really work out this time. It won't work out this time either, as Pack has the leading gap to really manage the race from his second place and make sure that it is the very, very first ace. I spoke way too soon. The entry was completely messed up on the side of Pack. Did not get the proper angle to get the wall hug that you need to send you right that right-hand corner. And thus Epos will be able to get 1 point out of that particular round. And yeah, that was a second ace for Solary that was getting denied there.
Yeah, so very important that they denied that ace, but also even more important for Pack that he didn't have to respawn, because there's a speed check after that and you need to hold some speed. So it is Pack staying on the track, but it's another victory for Solary. One ace away of winning that first map, and it could be a 4-round ender here, but we can see Razi and Epos not making a mistake this time around, but they're already a bit further behind. It is Epos trying to chase them, going for a wider approach there, but it doesn't really pay off too much for him. Carl Jr. and Pack with a very good jump there, but also Epos had it really good, coming closer to the 5-time world champion from Canada. Also had a very good performance at the Ascension tournament where he got that second place. Let's see if he can also hold on that second position here and make it a clear deal on this map, as Epos is trying to chase down Razi with a respawn. You can see it in the top right in the feed, just below the sponsor banner, and it seems like Carl Jr. and Pack will take it if they survive it, but it's too early to say. We have seen a mistake from Pack, but also a good time from Carl in the last one, and let's see if they can replicate the mistakes or the good times. I do think it will be the good times, and also map 1 being done, a 0.5 and a 0.6 from Pack and Carl, and there you go, 4 rounds and map 1 is over. Solary winning their first pick.
Solary winning their first pick with a very, very expeditive 4-round procedure there on a score of 10-2. That is a solid way to get your Best of 7 series underway, as we will be getting onto the split pick, which is going to be Cosmos of memory. And yeah, Cosmos also a very, very interesting map with the top-down view perspective on the identity, as well as part of the first sector that we'll get to witness in a little bit. And yeah, also a map that can also have a few surprises in store when it comes to attacking the third and final sector. A good potential for overtaking opportunities as players try to go all out with absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah, but it actually is Tempest for now.
Oh, sorry.
By the looks of it. So Cosmos will not be played just yet, but that it is what it is. You can sometimes get it wrong, but also Tempest is not a map that like, it's kind of comparable with Cosmos, because you have you can push a lot. Maybe the gears are a bit different on that map, but here you can see the identity where you have to flip. And also with icy tires, it's harder to control your car in the air, and if you jump too far up, you're gonna get a slow-mo effect and lose even more time. So let's jump into the first round on Tempest, a map where I can really see a lot of close fights. Stuft had a very good time during the middle stage with a 108.225. We see this world record being in the books for now, but I think after 40 days, I mean, it can be beaten. So this was the pick from Split, and let's see if they can redeem themselves. They look very strong here, but we already see the first mistake from the red team. It is Epos completely making a mistake and is 3 seconds behind. Goes for the double respawn, and also we see 2 slides out here. Pack and Razi both sliding out. Only Carl Jr., the only player left alive, and this is a complete mess of a round right now, but it looks like Solary will take another victory, but no Pack, no with the best gear, going to the ice, but also Epos with a good approach. Let's see what the 2 players from the United Kingdom can do. Razi still on second place, Carl Jr. on first, but the battle for third has not been decided just yet. Pack going to the identity first. Epos with a good approach here. Pack very low, but Epos will have more speed by the looks of it. No, not yet, because the boost is coming up after. Pack jumping so close there. Carl Jr. winning the round with a 108.86, being 0.6 away from the world record. Pack on third, and Epos is getting last. So very messy round. A lot of mistakes have happened, and Solary taking another victory.
Yeah, very messy round, and also mixed fortunes on the ice slide section just after the first jump spin, where unfortunately Pack had basically the grip stall and basically completely lose all the grip and sliding out all the way to the side where there's a little bit of a gap where your car can fall through, forcing him to double respawn, whereas Razi managed to come away the better for wear in that case, managing to retain that second position, allowing Split to get at the very least 1 point on the board as we get started here with round number 2 on Tempest. Pack assuming the lead at the end of Sector 1 just before the first jump spin. He's going to go toe-to-toe with Razi. Epos in third, Car going very low at the first jump spin in fourth position, trying to carry a little bit of time back through that jump spin. Now moving on to the ice slide right there. This is where Razi hit the flagpole on the inside, going very close, but this time nose has been kept clean. Nothing has been touched so far. Pack still holding onto the lead. Epos and Razi trying to tandem this together, trying to mount a joint attack on Pack's first place as we're currently still following the perspective of Conjuno, giving us a good perspective of what's happening up ahead. Pack still leading at the splits ahead of Razi and Epos in second and third, and it looks as though the Englishman has got this round under lock and key. Wow, Carl going solo at the first of the 2 identity jump spins right there, still going neck and neck with the split duo. My goodness, perfectly judging the rotation and sniping both Razi and Epos for second position, and thus getting the ace with a .245 on the side of Pack. We're only 2 rounds in.
What an overtake from Carl Jr., topping it off with 0.02 away from the world record there from Pack. You cannot really gain too much in the identity, but Carl Jr. showed us how much you can gain. This was 2 perfect jumps from him. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the World Championship 2023. This is match number 1. Solary already showing some magic, and let's jump into round number 3. Split with no chance on their first pick as Carl Jr. finds himself in the lead. Pack is on second place, and another great jump there from Carl Jr. opens it up accordingly, but Pack has more speed. Epos with the first respawn, the first couple of respawns, because he might have not had the best respawn there. So you can also double respawn or single respawn, and if you just crash and don't have a good respawn, it's sometimes worth to just start from 0 kilometers per hour. But right now, he needs to rely on his teammate Razi, who has a very good backward section, also good turnaround. But after seeing those identities from both Pack and Carl Jr., I do think it will be very hard to beat them, but we see Pack with a mistake, having to respawn. Carl Jr., however, still in the lead, and we're gonna check in on Pack in a second as he gets overtaken by Epos. But let's see what time will Carl Jr. drive. Just a .45, not too bad, not too bad. Pack had to respawn again. Epos will get third by the looks of it. Yes, he will, and Pack on fourth, so that is the first draw of this matchup.
Yeah, first ever draw of this matchup, as so far we've only seen victory and aces, and yeah, Carl Jr., we're basically just scuffing at .4s, but you gotta keep it in mind. This is 2/10 away from the fastest time that you see on the top left corner of the screen, so there is still a lot of pace that is being shown right now by the Solary guys on their first entry into this final stage, heading into round number 3 now. Razi going very, very low on the second apex there of that ice slide, trying to get a better setup for the wall ride, but is super slow at the exit, so he ends up getting shuffled to the back of the field in P4. Currently Pack leading ahead of Epos and Carl Jr. second and third place. Razi right at the coattails of Carl Jr.'s third place, sitting at the last place in the standings. And Razi trying to carry a bit more speed through the first jump spin. Doesn't make the move stick quite just yet on the Canadian, as we're moving on to the ice slide right now, followed by this little dirt patch to get your tires defrosted and make sure that the ice goes away to regain the grip. Pack, Epos, Carl, 1, 2, 3. Carl managing to finally get third place secured for the time being, as Razi is going to have to try and pull out all this stuff to catch up. That was such a close trigger to the checkpoint as well, with the right rear on the side of Razi carrying a lot of longitudinal speed for the first jump spin, but it's not really going to pay off as Carl is now making a move on Epos for second position. Can Epos retaliate? The answer is going to be a no, as Carl manages to get the better landing from the last jump. .34 from Pack. Carl 3/10 down, just a few hundreds ahead of Epos, but it's the second ace here in this map. 9-2. We're already on map point number 2 here for Solary.
Split needs to act now. Solary only needing 1 point, and you also get 1 point if you're just getting second, and your team is gonna get beaten in that round. So Solary, only one member has to survive, but after seeing that very great performance and also solid and consistent performance from Pack and Carl Jr., I do think that they will not take longer than 1 or 2 rounds for that, as Carl Jr. is on a great start already, 0.1 ahead of Razi, the Croatian, who finally found a teammate. He played with Tricky in the regionals at the start of the year, but then decided to play the last chance qualifier together with Epos, and they made it where they played against formerly known Airwalkers, now of course joining Wild. They played in one group against each other and we had great matches there, but they have to perform. They need to get that ace in this round to have a chance to win their map pick, but it looks like Carl Jr. is long gone. Razi with good speed, but Carl Jr. has to be beaten by both Epos and Razi, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Epos jumping so far again, having a good approach and a good amount of speed, but still traveling so much distance, and I don't think it will be enough though, because Carl Jr. will win the round. Pack had to respawn, but as I said, one member is enough in this case. You can play it not like rather consistent. I mean, Pack made a mistake in this way, but Carl Jr. winning the round, so it is done, a done deal, and Solary leads 2-0.
Another expeditive victory on the side of Solary to really assert their position and make their intents clear in this final stage, that they're here to win. They're absolutely here to go for the overall title, as we're going to be getting onto our next map here in a little bit, which will be Cosmos this time. So I was predicting Cosmos maybe one map too early, but we got there eventually. So yeah, indeed, Cosmos, a map that we've alluded to a little bit beforehand, with a top-down point of view identity that we'll get to see maybe here on this particular presentation, as it seems as though we might be getting a little bit of delay.
A pause, just a pause here by the looks of it, as yeah, I want to also talk a little bit about Cosmos, because this map had a sign, an AMD sign, that was consisting of plastic, and with this plastic sign you could hit it to give you a very good angle and make it through with more speed. So this has been patched out. We see the world record from Gwen being a 1:12.886. That is a very good time here from Gwen. Also a small reference for you guys at home. It is 10 seconds from checkpoint before the identity towards the ending. So that is a kind of reference point that you can just take into consideration, as the race will be starting very soon here. But Razi and Epos losing their first pick. So what does that do to a team? Because usually you think you're advantageous on your pick. Usually the win rate on your pick is like 60 to 70%. Now you lost it. So what is your mindset now going into the second pick from your opponents if you're 2-0 behind, Geek?
Well, for me, it definitely brings a big dent into the morale of the troop if you're really, really hoping to capitalize on that opening map. But I feel like this could also be, it could have a double side. It could be either really, really tanking your morale, making so that you just can't get back up from that, as we seem to have had during the past, as we can also see it having the other effect where it can actually kickstart a remontada.
Yeah, I do think so as well. It could really be the start of something good here for them. I mean, they only took a draw so far as their best result in the rounds. They had 2 of them, but they need to win those rounds. They need to get first and third. It doesn't seem to be like enough to just beat either Carl Jr. or Pack in those rounds, but that's what they have to do. Maybe it will happen on Cosmos or some of the other maps, but Tempest was such a good map for Split, for Razi and Epos, also during the previous event. That's what I wanted to say.
During the middle stage.
Yeah, middle stage. I want to say mid-season, but no, it's middle stage.
It is indeed the middle stage, where they were looking to be very, very competent here on Tempest, which led to that very, very famous showdown between Razi Epos and Lego Impostito Paco during that final game of the middle stage. I think it was the lower bracket semi-final, something like that, if I recall correctly. Because
the lower bracket final then determined the seed of the team in what group they will play against. They play that against Big, who also dropped into the lower bracket there, and that was also a great match. But yeah, Paco and Lego, definitely, I do think that they can do some great times and also some great events, and the events that might happen next year as well.
Who knows?
Who knows, who knows, yeah. So I think the technical difficulties will be resolved very soon, as we still have a small pause. But there you go. The match resumes, and let's go into the first round here on Cosmos. Carl Jr. and Pack are leading 2-0 against Razi and Epos.
All right, here we go then for the opening round here on Cosmos with that drop down into the plastic around 180 kilometers per hour. I've figured out that you need actually to be able to drop down consistently and get the proper landing on the other side. Then this hairpin where we saw plenty of slowdowns over the course of this competition, and already we see Epos streak ahead, managing to keep the gear all the way through, going over the plastic. There are two schools of thought. Either you can go through the uphill plastic or try to go for the side jump, but the side jump doesn't really pay off that much as we're going through that first top-down view with the currently POV car centered in the screen, highlighted by the red circle. Through that first sector we go, and Razi going very, very slow to that left-hander, thus sending back down to P4 as we see Epos, Pack and Carl 1, 2, and 3 streaking away from the Croatian player currently sitting in the field as we're sitting 1/10 apart from first to third, and then further 5/10 down we find Razi here, start of sector 3, that little section there which has been revamped because of the plastic sign that you've alluded to a little bit earlier on. Now onto the water bounce. Then you have to do a little bit of Scandinavian flick, just flick the car all the way to the right-hand side and try to scrub the tires as much as possible so you can regain the grip as soon as possible. And now to the identity, the S chicane through this top-down section. Epos, Carl, and Pack. It will be Epos, Pack, and Carl in that order, and Epos signing a 1:13.411, 1/10 ahead of his fellow compatriot, and it will be a draw to kick things off.
Very good time from Epos, but also Epos showed a very good performance on this map beforehand in the other events as well, and now redeeming himself. We've seen a mistake from Razi, but also another one here, another small mistake though, so he's not that far behind. But you were mentioning this slowdown here. It's actually it's a gear that you have to hold, so it's gear number 3 in this case. Oh no, actually, yeah, it's gear number 3, and then you want to howl it up and don't want to gear up into 4th gear. So it's quite tricky to do. Also, this bug slide there that you can do. We have seen Soldier going for that. Instead of a jump, he went for a bug slide, but it's the best way to just do a no jump there. And look at that. Pack and Carl Jr. already leading, but I do think that the world record, it's a very hard nut to crack, but I don't want to say that against someone like Pack and Carl Jr., who are just insanely fast. They're always there to spring a world record or even 2 in a match, and they are leading quite comfortably. Razi made that mistake at the start, lost roughly 0.3 of a second. Pack in the lead. Carl with a small drift there by the looks of it to just get a better approach in this sector, and look how much he came closer with that. 0.1 of a second of an advantage for Carl compared to his teammate. Let's take a look onto the checkpoint. It's a 1:03.24, so he can gain a bit of time. 9.8 to 10 seconds is the identity in length, so Pack can set a low 1:13 time here by the looks of it. Carl Jr. also stays in there, and there you go, 1:13.17, solid time from Pack, and there you go, it is the ace for Solary. So it's 4-1, and let's see how well they can play the format.
All right, round number 3, here we go then, in the very, very stout time on the side of Pack with a 1:13.1 indeed. And I'm going to start taking your cue there for the checkpoint before the identity to kind of like give a ballpark of where we might be landing up in terms of round times. In the meantime, heading into this round, following the perspective of Pack through this hairpin, no engine left in the running, and you can see Razi going way out wide and thus penalizing his speed almost immediately before getting back down through the checkpoint, and thus he will be left out of contention for having a significant impact here on this round. It will be Pack, Epos, Carl in that order, 1, 2, 3, and Pack having built up a gap of almost 0.4 of a second over the course of this first sector. Carl and Epos going head-to-head, wheel-to-wheel through this middle sector. Now it is a very, very important cover because it's a bit of a blind approach, quote-unquote, here through that plastic, and also the plastic exit is very, very important as it conditions this little chicane before the reactor boost part, which follows at 90 right, and now to the start of sector 3. This drop down onto the plastic there, and a huge clip by the right rear of Carl Jr., forcing the Canadian to respawn. Epos gets promoted up into 2nd position as a result of this mishap from Carl. Pack still ahead by quite a ways, 1:03.125. We could be headed for a 1:03.0 if Pack manages to get a sub 10-second identity. Will this be the case at the finish line? The answer is a yes, with a .944 signed by the Englishman ahead of Epos by 0.6 of a second. Carl Jr. in 3rd ensures the victory goes the way of Team Solary.
So sometimes those 3rd or 4th positions are really important. As you can see there, Carl Jr. winning that individual fight. Razi not being able to continue the round there. I hope everything is fine on his end. And Pack with a very good time, 1:12.94. Just a couple of hundreds away from Gwent's really strong world records. I talked to some of the players beforehand, and they were saying, I'm just quoting, this world record is really strong. So Pack already coming very close, and this also gives an outlook what players have to beat to become and also beat the world champions of Trackmania. Carl Jr. winning it 5 times on Pack in 2016. But let's firstly see what Split can do against them, because they are quite far behind. Also Epos in this round, not with the best start, being 0.3 behind and still holding on. But Carl Jr. and Pack just are on another level, quarter of a second of a gap towards Razi, who's on third position, didn't make a mistake, and maybe it's already the time that we will say bye-bye to the world record from Gwen. But look at that, Razi coming back. Also, those individual battles do decide. A world record doesn't matter if your team does not decide it, and Pack is so far ahead. Look at that, 50.25 as a checkpoint there, and let's see what his checkpoint before the identity will be. Very good line there from Pack. Can he beat it? It is a 103.11 with a very good identity. Maybe he can, but Epos and Carl Jr. are battling down for second position. Carl Jr. is right now getting overtaken. Good drift there. Epos will still stay ahead. Pack with a mistake. Epos will overtake. Razi will overtake as well, and it will be the first victory for Split.
Oh, such a painful way to lose the round as well, like that, with that little touch at the grandstand there, at the bottom of the grandstand, past the final corner, and then following that by a corkscrew flip, by just clipping the edge of the barrier. That is such a sad way to lose a surefire victory and bin 2 points, giving it to the opponents as we're moving our way into this next round. We are indeed on map point on the side of Solary, which do need an ace to conclude it, but they are going to be making quick work to make sure that this scenario is making a possibility a reality. Razi already making the job a lot easier for Solary, as he had that little touch at the apex there of that little right-hander just before the jump into that first top-down part. It will be Pack, Carl, Epos, 1, 2, and 3, separated by 0.2 of a second, with the Solary duo just tandeming this together, keeping each other nose to tail, and trying to pull a little bit of a gap on Epos, but that was a really bad exit from the part of Carl Jr. on the plastic part, but Epos trying to go a little bit too tight, and being a little bit too greedy there on that particular 90 right-hander uphill, and so he will be kind of penalizing himself in that Sector 3, as he's finding himself 4/10 down from the leader, and further a 10th down from Carl Jr. as we see Pack crossing with a 0.192 once again, coming onto the identity. Will he be able to right the wrong of the previous round here at the final corner? Carl under threat from Epos for second position. The answer is going to be a no. 0.057 for Pack, winning ahead of Carl Jr. by 4/10, managing to stay ahead for just a few hundreds, but just enough to guarantee the ace. It is 10-4 for Solary at the end of map 3.
Wow, what a great performance from Pack on this map, just setting 113 low times if we exclude that one mistake where he was probably risking
112.9s even.
Yeah, when he wanted to risk it there, and also that 112.9 from him. So great job. Pack looking very, very good on this map. Also Carl Jr. on there. And now we go to a map, Valley, which is loved by Berlin International Gaming, who we're going to see after that playing against Alliance. So this is also a very cool map, very nice scenery here as well, but also an identity that is not that easy, because you have a kind of unique effect combination that you have to take, jump through those gates where you're gonna reset into freewheel, and then you have to do a 180-degree turn, and there you go. Solary looking strong, 3 points for them, and they only have to win one more map to win their first match of this World Championship offline final.
All right, here we go then. Round 1 here on Valley. It will be a packed start with Razi, Epos, Carl, and Pack all grouped together. Now moving through this first reactor boost part, marking the end of sector number 1. The Brave go for the full inside line as Razi tried to do so, but he landed a little bit sideways and touched with the right rear of the wall, which is definitely going to be compounding his efforts down the drain. Epos, in the meantime, in stark contrast, takes the lead away from the Solary duo and pulls a gap of almost 0.4 of a second before this high-speed jump through the ring, where you try to set yourself up to the for the left-hander that comes up next through this dirt part, and now onto sector number 3, jumping there over onto this very, very tight bug slide section. A little bit of a wall touch, maybe that was just a little bit of an optical illusion on the side of Carl Jr. Moving up into second place, Epos leading by about 0.4 of a second through the identity. The first goalpost jump passes clean for the top 3. Epos still leading by about 0.4 of a second. Heading into the second jump, Epos manages to get a low line on the landing, but does not manage to make it stick, and thus gives up the round win and gifts the ace on a silver plate to Solary with a 0.247. That could have been such a stout time from the Englishman as well, from Epos. Could have been a 107 in my book.
This was a 107. It was a 0.20 checkpoint just before the first identity jump. That's another instance, and we have seen it there. The one moment where Granadi and Epos were playing against each other, Granadi was 0.3 ahead and Epos was still able to catch up. There we have seen 2 world records in one round where Granati tied the former set world record, but this counts in my book. As Solary takes that ace due to Epos's insane risk there. He was going for it, maybe even a 0.7 would have been the case if he just survived that. Pack and Carl Jr. both with great times in the previous rounds. A 0.24 there from Pack. I think that's his new match PB, because I don't think that Solary played this map, if I recall it correctly, maybe once or twice, but they have also, of course, practiced the maps, and Epos is again cooking. He is on a great time. Look how far ahead he is, 0.4 of a second. His teammate Razi makes a mistake, but let's take a look into the checkpoints here after this turnaround. He had a 0.20 beforehand, and it seems like Epos lost a bit of time, but still looking quite strong. At 0.39, Pack came closer, but still this could be another great time from Epos as he jumps so close there. Pack making a mistake himself and has no speed. Razi will overtake him here, and we see the fight Carl Jr. versus Epos, but Epos is too far behind to get overtaken with a mistake. But Razi now with a respawn. Let's see the time from Epos. What time will it be? Just a 0.05, just 7 thousandths away from the world record. Yeah, why not? Insane time there from Epos, and I do think that he can perform really well on this map, but he also needs his teammate, who was 7 seconds behind in this round, to perform, that they can win their second map pick.
Yeah, this is a bit of an unfortunate one here for Split, as Epos is clearly giving it his all and just playing out of his mind, as we're seeing, unfortunately, Razi not really able to be quite up to snuff when it comes to actual survival rate, because the name of the game here is going to be to keep your nose clean over the course of the entirety of the match. We've seen him did a couple clean rounds in, but unfortunately it's not quite enough for the Croatian to really be able to make a significant impact on the outcome of the rounds. And unfortunately, case in point, that little clip just before the reactor boost part on the side of Razi is going to be further hampering Split's chances of coming away with a realistic chance of trying to take a map away here from the series realistically, as we see Epos and Carl going toe-to-toe, wheel to wheel for the lead in this round, with Pack a little bit further behind. I think as a more of an independent adjudicator and even further removed from that scene due to that bug slide, which looked a lot slower than it first seen. 7/10 of a second conceded as Carl makes the first move through the first part of the identity. Doesn't really make it work quite far, and Epos barely grazes the wall, slowing him down just enough to warrant a respawn. Gifting yet the second ace here for Solary with a 0.308 on the side of Carl, 3/10 ahead of Pack. 1 ace left to make this a clean sweep.
Players were comparing their PBs beforehand, but what eventually matters is the consistency. Pack and Carl Jr. have that ongoing, but also they have insane pace, but only being 0.25 away from Epos' world records. So very nice. It is match point already. Epos with a respawn, and this is not a good way to start this World Championship offline finals here for Split, as this match could be over in just 33 minutes for them. But we see Pack giving them another chance. Pack with a mistake, fully making a mistake, and just lost all of his speed. So he's behind. Razi is on second place right now. Carl Jr. is on first. But the question is, can Razi also hold it on? Because Epos made a larger mistake, so if Razi respawns and Pack can overtake Razi in the meantime, the match will be over. And, well, let's first take a look what Carl Jr. can do. Razi with a good turnaround, but eats the inside of the wall, so he slows down quite a bit. Not the best pace in this round, but as I said, pace does not win matches. It is consistency. You can win the occasional round, even with a world record, but that doesn't win you a match or a map. So Carl Jr. quite far ahead. Also, Razi will survive, so he will seal the deal and at least get his team 1 point. But Solary now only in need of 1 point. Or maybe it will be 2, depending if... What is... Why? Huh?
That's odd.
Okay. Wasn't Razi just on his way to the finish like this, and then he respawned? Or what happened?
I wonder if he felt like he did not have enough speed to actually make it to the finish line. Because it's all freewheel. If you learn with not enough speed, you could just slow down. But yeah, that seems very odd to me. I legitimately don't understand what just happened there. Yeah. But we're just going to be continuing.
We took it for granted
We took it for granted, but I think it just goes to show, as I ever so often say, anything can happen in Trackmania, and it usually does. So we should be going on to the next round, expecting maybe the unexpected, but so far it's going to be Carl Jr. making sure that the unexpected doesn't happen for Team Solary. Pack going toe-to-toe with Epos for second position. Razi currently sitting in P4 in hot pursuit as we're moving through the second sector pretty quickly here, pretty briskly. Now offset to the right-hand side through the ring to make sure you get the perfect setup for this long left-hander in the dirt where you manage to slow down quite significantly there. Now onto the jump into this tight buck slide, going a little bit too out on the side of Pack, but the scenario is a little bit more palatable on the side of Team Solary with Carl Jr. especially. 4/10 clear of Epos, making his way through the identity and barely clipping the side of the first goalpost, so that will for sure seal a victory and potentially gift the ace. Third ace being gifted away on the side of pass lead to Solary. Let's see what the time will be for Carl Jr. It is indeed a new world record. I was being pointed at that time by my fellow co-caster Kai, but yeah, 1:07.916, and it's only match 1 of day 1.
Carl Jr. ending it there with a very good time, so GG's to Solary. What a great performance from Carl Jr. and Pack there. Just finding the right formula between pace and consistency. So 4-0, look at that. And well, this was match number 1 of this rather, I would say, like average sized evening when it comes to length, because we have only 4 matches today. We will have 4 matches tomorrow and then 5 on Sunday. So the first match is in the books, and we're gonna have ITB versus ITB will be playing at 7, but this is the second match of Group A. We will have Alliance versus Big happening very soon. So Solary already secured at least top 2 in their group in Group A. The question is who will join them for tomorrow's first game. Will it be ITB or Wild? We're gonna figure that out today as well, because we still have those 3 matches that you have seen on your screen after that.
All right, well, thoughts on that match? A little bit expected outcome, but we were all giving a little bit of hope to Split, but unfortunately that hope hasn't really come to fruition. They were really giving you their best shot, especially Epos, cooking some insane rounds that could have bore fruit to a potential new world record before Solary came in and snatched the prize for themselves. But yeah, ultimately, facing off against a legendary duo such as Carl and Pack is always going to be a tough proposition.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those are the 6 times world champion, if you just include all the titles, have played so many tier 1 competitions and just dominated, or at least made it into the final. But guys, we're gonna take a small break, and then we're gonna be back for the second match of this evening.